Teen pregnancy used to be a taboo. Today, it's in the mainstream, some even going so far to call it cool.
The picture? Mama colored too?
But Jacinda's life is anything but glamorous. At 19, she's the single mom of 2-year-old Caden.
Right before my 17th birthday, I found out I was pregnant. And that was big. That was really big. And my mom was all in her own world, and she was having a lot of depression problems and all kinds of problems. So it was really hard, and I didn't want to tell anybody because I was afraid that they'd force me to have an abortion.
Her mom wasn't the only one who brought up abortion.
When I went to my doctor, he's like, you're only about 4 months. He's like, you can still have an abortion if you want. And I was all excited to see the baby and see if it was a boy or a girl, and I was like, excuse me?
Abortion wasn't an option for Jacinda, but keeping the baby meant incredible challenges. She had no home or hope. That's when another door opened for her.
Teddy and Linda set up a shepherding home for me, and I stayed there from about the end of June till about the beginning of September.
So during your pregnancy?
Yeah, for the first few months of my pregnancy. And that was like such a gift from God.
So is it true about
Teddy and Linda Hoare are Youth for Christ workers and surrogate parents to Jacinda and other troubled youth in Chateauguay, Quebec.
Do it?
They've run a drop-in center for 14 years, but soon found out young people needed a lot more than a place to hang out and have fun.
Probably the biggest need that we saw was in the area of sexuality. A lot of kids getting pregnant and doing things that were really kind of sad and just feeling kind of alone. A lot of kids wanting to have somebody to love them.
And that often leads to pregnancy. That's why 4 years ago, Options Crisis Pregnancy Center was born.
Well, some of the Friday nights the girls will come in and want to have a pregnancy test done. But we don't just kind of flippantly, randomly do them. We try to have a time to sort of talk with the girls. And most of the girls that come here on a Friday night, I've earned the right in their life. So it's taken time to build the relationship, and they know I care about them. And so it's kind of a joke, I'm going to preach to you for 10 minutes. We're going to do the test, but I'm going to talk with you about what I think and what you think, and we're going to have a time together. Because often when the pregnancy test is negative, it's like, yes, great, but can I go on with my life the way it is now?
Even with support, Jacinda wanted to try living with the father of her child, himself a teen. But things soon turned sour.
It was such a disaster and so not what I wanted. And I was trying to hold this ideal family, and I had people over all the time, and he would make holes in the walls, and he was doing drugs, and it was really, really, really rough. And I was still pregnant, and then I had the baby. That was it was a disaster.
Again, she turned to Options.
This is always a rock to me. I always felt safe. I could always come and talk to people, and even the other girl who was having his baby and had his baby would come here and talk with them. So it was kind of like a network where you could just relax and know the truth and not be lied to and manipulated. And the more I learned about God, the more I felt like there's hope. There's hope somewhere out there.
And in many ways, opening Options was a huge step of faith. Quebec has one of the highest abortion rates and fewest crisis pregnancy centers in the country.
It's not easy to start something like this in Quebec.
God did it, basically.
We've always thought that, if we're going to be in this, we're in it for the long haul, and we watch the kids grow. And like Linda said, sometimes we may never see a change, but in the many years we've been doing this, we've seen some awesome changes.
But operating a crisis pregnancy center is about much more than offering options other than abortion.
The majority of the girls that we've had up until now have actually chosen to keep their babies, which has been really awesome when you consider all the difficulties they're facing, and yet they've really, they've thought this is what they want to do. But it's great, but then what, So a lot of them need a lot of mentoring, so it's not just the get them through the pregnancy and give them clothing, that kind of thing. It's how do you raise a child, and how do you love a child, and how do you be a single mom to a child.
It's about helping dads too.
I don't know exactly what the statistics are, but it's something like 98% of guys that end up in jail, it's because of absentee dads. So that I play a big part in that, and just being a dad for the guys and the girls. And you know, when they first come, they're not very trusting, but it doesn't take long, and next thing you know, they're giving you a hug, and they need to be loved in a proper way.
No, come over here.
Trust and relationships take time, and there are many struggles along the way.
Some days are hard. Some days are really hard, and I'm like, I'm 19, and all my friends are going to prom and doing this and doing that, and some things are really hard. But I look at her, and I mean, my mom's passed away, and I don't have very much left. But I'm Caden's mom, and I'm the most important person in the whole world to her, and I want to be there 100%, and that keeps me going. That's the love of my life. I love the little things that you guys prepared.
And while this is not exactly how Jacinda pictured her life, she's come a long way. She's working on getting her high school degree and starting a small business. Whatever she does, Linda will be beside her. She's committed to being a mom and friend to girls who come through the doors. But there's only so much she can do.
It's not the material goods, it's not the counseling, it's like we love God and we love kids, and it's kind of like holding on really tightly to the God that you love and holding the kid's hand and walking and walking and walking, and eventually hoping that someday they're going to catch that and they're going to accept Christ and they're going to know what you have.
Are you going to be able to come in and get some clothes?
And while operating a crisis pregnancy center wasn't how Teddy and Linda pictured their lives either, they have a vision for their province.
We would love to see a crisis pregnancy center in every major city in Quebec, and that's kind of one of our visions. We are so short on workers here in Quebec. We are constantly praying for more workers.
We love the fact that we see these little babies and it's wonderful, and another life has been born, and we're helping them through, but ultimately what we really want to see is that they have a relationship, because when those girls go out the door and they have these little babies and they don't have the Lord, it's kind of really hard for them to face the rest of their future, and so that's basically what we do.
And in so many ways, actions speak louder than words.
So many times they've brought me food, they've helped me out emotionally, mentally, like anything I ever needed, clothes. My daughter was able to go to daycare and not stand out, like she wasn't wearing rags or she wasn't dirty, or I was able to survive because of places like this.
In Châteauguay, Quebec, Denise Lottie, 100 Huntley Street.